Wow, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Spirit Quest, the journey of life with Paul Francis, brought to you by the United Public Radio Network 105.3 and 107.7 FM, coming to you live from the very beautiful um, New Orleans. New Orleans, I'm beautiful. I'm a big fan of the amazing Gordon Ramsay, and I've watched him do some shows from New Orleans. I've always thought I want to visit New Orleans. Well, welcome to the second of my shows brought to you live tonight. We're getting towards Christmas. I'm a big believer that men, right? We grow to the age of 19. So we grow to the age of 19 years old, and then our bodies just get older, but our minds stay 19. Because you ask any man, "Oh, can you do this?" And he'll go, "Yes." And his body will go, "No, you can't." So I'm a believer that that energy within that we have is still in there and we can harness it. All right. Which leads me to the beginning and sort of the whole title of tonight's show. Tonight's show is all about energy. And hopefully coming on a bit later on, I'm definitely going to have one guest coming on very shortly, but possibly two. If we get the fingers crossed and everything lines up correctly, I may well have two. My dear friend Roger Garza Sr., who is a well renowned psychic medium, who's going to come on and talk about how his energies and his gifts were came into play and how they were developed. So the whole energy about what happened, I'm not going to spoil the story about it. It's an amazing story, and we'll talk about a little bit about that. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I may have another guest coming on who will talk about Reiki, which is absolute, total, and pure energy. But the subject of energy, the whole subject of energy in itself, isn't we're not going to cover it in one show. Not remotely are we going to cover it in one show. Now, the great thing about that is I've got great many shows coming up in 2023. I have signed on to this amazing network of people. They are just absolutely phenomenal people. They bend over backwards to help you out. The beautiful Michelle, Joe, and Amelia, they have gone out of their way to say, "Listen, Paul, don't worry about it. You've got this. This is great." And it would seem that you agree because the amount of messages and emails that I got back from last week's show were just phenomenal. I am so very grateful. Now, about energy, well, the everything you know, feel, touch, and interact with is energy. Whether it's stationary energy, such as a desk, or whether it's magnetic energy, movement energy, whatever. But the scientists of our world have claimed that there are 10 types of energy. We'll get to those in a little while. What I want is I want you guys to come and join us. Okay. So let's have a look at who's coming here. And we're going to be talking to, we've got the lovely, we've got Facebook users. They've come through and their names are Facebook user. Hi, Facebook users. Lovely to see you. Who have we got? Now we got Lynn's joined us. Hi, Lynn. Lovely to see you. We have Sue. Come on, who I've got? I just said Facebook user. I'm not seeing your name. So we got Mary Erickson. Mary, good evening and welcome. Laura Carlin, very good evening. It's lovely to see you. Andrea Smart Richards, lovely to see you. Andrea, thanks for being here in the show. Mary May Valentine, what a beautiful name. What a beautiful name. Welcome to the show. It's lovely to see you. Fatima Smith, has joined us as well. Although Fatima Smith is doing something really silly, and she's trying to do reads over my show, which is not a really nice thing to do. So, Fatima, if you'd be so kind as to contact all of those people a little bit later, or even when the planet explodes, that will help a lot. All right. Um, I cannot endorse anybody I've never seen working, so please don't take a reading from anybody that's coming onto the show without my endorsement. I can't endorse them. So there you go. Sampo, Julie Sharp, she loves reggae. Reggae. I bet you love reggae. Who doesn't? Reiki is what she loves. It's lovely to see. Now, listen, guys. I'm going to tell you something in a moment, okay? I'm going to tell you that the scientist buffs of this planet have said there are 10 types of energy. Okay. I want you, in your own way, try and come up with those 10 types of energy. If you say, um, it's X, Y, and Z, and I'll go, yep, they've recognized that as an energy. And if they haven't, then I will keep going for a little while and we'll have a bit of fun. All right. It's coming up to Christmas. Let's have a little bit of fun. Energy, having fun. Okay. Bit of a clue in there, by the way. As again, I've got a lot of people saying, it's coming up saying Facebook user. It's not actually saying who it is that's you're sending me a message. So send me a message through and say, hi, Paul, it's, and put your name in so I know who you are. Andrea says to me, Paul, who is this person messaging us? This person, Fatima Smith, I have absolutely no idea, no clue who this person is. I've never invited them onto the show. They basically hijacked and they're trying their best to get through. But I will not endorse that person. So don't go and see them under my invitation, because you're definitely not getting any. Right, like I say, so it's coming up showing you as a Facebook user. Put your name in and say, hi, Paul, this is X, Y, and Z. I'm here with you tonight. Just use that so I know who you are. Lynn Sue, is it Lynn and Sue? Sorry, are in the room. Lovely to see you guys. So there's a few people who actually have their names coming through. Like Andrea, for an example, I can see her name. Everybody else, there's Fiona Stewart Williams. Wow, Fiona Stewart Williams. Good evening, and it's lovely to hear all the way from my part of the world. And her accent's a wee bit more like that now, because she's a wee bit more north of me. But my accent has been over here and softened out quite a bit. About everybody out there is laughing their heads off. We got Leanne Higgins all the way over from New Zealand. Leanne Higgins, good evening, my darling. Lindsay Hill, lovely Lindsay Hill. Welcome to the show. Welcome. Don't forget, though, to help me out, share the show. Get it out there. Get it out there. And share it with everybody that you know, okay? Catch yourself on. I wonder who that's coming from. I use the exact language. My darling pal Fiona Stewart Williams. Do you know what? I'm going to be doing a show in the not too distant future, and I will give Fiona a call, because Fiona is one of Ireland's leading psychic mediums, and she does an amazing show with flowers. And what I will do is I'm going to do a show specifically on color, and I will have Fiona come in as the special guest on that one. Alrighty, so I'm looking forward to that. It's Julie. Jules is in the house. Lovely stuff. Lovely to see you, Julie Jules. Leanne Higgins, how is New Zealand? Because I was wondering, because I know parts of New Zealand's got it's got covered in snow anyway, because a lot of people do heli skiing over there. Roger Garza Jr. is in the house, and he will be coming on directly as a guest very, very shortly. And I will be sending him a link, and he will be coming on, and we'll be talking all about Roger. I would love that. Says, oh, you're in Drogheda at the moment. I say that Drogheda. Everybody in the planet's going, where? If you look at phonetically, it's Drogheda, but anybody from Ireland, we say Drogheda. We drop a couple of the letters out. Right. Well, I just gotta then Joan. Oh, Craigie's moved. Joan McCluskey Banks from the United States. Joan, welcome. Lovely to see you. Now, here, I'm gonna ask you all a favor. Please, please, please share the show. Share it out there right now. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family, and most importantly, get it into your groups. Okay, share it with your groups. Get all your groups to come on, and let's have a bit of, as we say in Ireland, let's have a bit of crack. Okay. Now I remember saying that one night. We'll have. I was doing a show. I was doing a show in a theater, and I said, "Oh, listen, we're going to have a bit of crack, and we'll do this and this later on." And halfway through the show, I used to take a break through the show, and people would, use the facilities, get more drinks, and blah blah blah. So I came off stage, and as I walked into the dressing room, this guy came up to me and he said, "Excuse me, can I ask you a question?" I said, "Yes, sir. What can I do for you?" He said, "I'm one of the security guards here in the theater." And I said, "Sure." He said, "Did you say you've got crack?" I said, "No." I said, "Crack, where I come from in Ireland, crack means laughter, fun, having a good time." He said, "That's what it means out in the street too, but a completely different story." So he thought I was talking about the drug crack. And that's not what I mean. We have a bit of crack, and the crack is great in Ireland. In fact, one of the ways we say it in Ireland is the crack's 90. The crack is 90. That means you're having a great time. Okay, so I want the show to have the crack is 90, and maybe that's a good show logo. That's actually not a bad idea. It's just come to me. So she's way over there in Drogheda, and she goes up and down to Drogheda a few times. She's telling me, so if you are listening to us in Ireland and you are wanting to go out and see a, a psychic medium that I absolutely endorse, go and see the great and wonderful, beautiful Fiona Stewart Williams and tell her I sent you, and she'll give you a big discount. New Zealand is in summertime right now, so it's heating up nicely for a warm Christmas. Do you know what? Um, I don't think I could handle that, Leanne. Leanne's from this part of the world. She's from Cornwall, where I live, and it's at the minute down here. It was -3. Okay, if I lived, for an example, because Johanna and I were talking about whether or not we should buy a house in Florida, or we were looking at Spain, not Spain, beg your pardon, Italy. Even if I lived in somewhere that's quite hot, um, I think I would be back here or Ireland for Christmas because I want to be somewhere cold. Rob Scarborough, I don't know how I ended up watching this, but it looks interesting. Well, Rob, I do hope so too. And thank you for being here. And it's a pleasure to meet you, Rob. And I don't know where you come from, but I wish you glad tidings at this time of the year. Laughter is a great energy, says Mary Erickson. I could not disagree with you with that. That is one of the great healers of the world. My hero, my absolute top hero, was a doctor, and his whole concept. Robin Williams played him in a movie called Patch Adams. His real name is Patch Adams, and his whole philosophy and his whole ethos was to bring laughter into the wards. And when he brought laughter into the wards, the patients healed up to 25% faster. Now you might say, well, hang on a second. Weren't you talking about the show being on energy? Yes, I am. Think about that. If laughter comes into a serious place like a hospital ward, and the patients actually heal, mind you, up to 25% quicker and faster, where's the energy? Because I tell you what, that energy isn't in the top 10 mechanical energies laid out by the scientists of the world. So we'll get back to that in a moment. Like I said, I want you all to give me one energy that you think that the scientists of the world have labeled. It's -4 and feels like -9. Well, it will do with a chill factor. It's -4 in North Devon. That gives you an idea what kind of a cold sort of sheet of air that's coming from the extreme north, that's coming down over Cornwall at the minute. Because Cornwall is actually almost tropical, because Cornwall has the jet stream that brings warm air right along in the Irish Sea and then cuts across the bottom of the UK, and we actually have palm trees and stuff here in normal terms. So having anything below 4 degrees down here is not very. We don't get it very often. So there is Facebook user who's putting the word down electricity. I can tell you that electricity is one of the 10 scientifically renowned energies of the world. So electricity. Um, I really would love to find out who's putting these things here. It's -6 in Cork. Whoosh! Love it. Somebody's put money down. It just says Facebook user again has put money down. It's not actually one of the energies, but I can see what you mean. How it creates an energy. Um, it creates a positive or a negative energy. Okay. It also it's funny, right? If you haven't got money, you have a negative approach, okay, because you need money, okay. But if you are, shall we just use sort of a generic term, if you're loaded, then you have the fear of losing it. So do you see the both ends of that? There is no balance in the middle. You want money, you need it. You have a loads of money, and you're afraid of losing it. So where does it all come from? Gas. No, this is a show, and it's. I'm sure there are children listening, so I'm going to keep it all nice, neat, and clean. No, gas is not one of the electrical concepts. Sorry, beg your pardon. One of the energy concepts. Gas is actually a material. So gas would actually form under another one or two of the energies that the Boffins of the world have said. So keep it coming, keep talking to me, because I tell you what, you're really making my night. It was difficult because none of you could get through last week, so keep chatting away to me. Um, Ley lines, lovely. I can see where you're going with that. I don't know who's put down. I would be delighted for a card reading. So would I. But if I was doing that, but I'm not doing card readings. Who said I? Oh, okay, I took a guess. And tell you what, thank you for taking a guess, because a guess is good. A guess is better than not a guess at all. So um keep your names coming up. See if you can figure out why I'm just getting you guys as Facebook users and not your names, because I'd really love to talk to you on a one-to-one basis. Right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We are into the show by, where are we? We're into the show about 17 minutes roughly now. I'm going to give you the first five. Okay, I'll give you the first five, and that'll give you a shot at the recipient of the rest. So the very first that the engineers and scientists of the world claim is the number one is chemical. Now that's where that gas would have come in. See what I mean? So chemical is the first energy that the Boffins of the world. Now the Boffins, I want to say this again, 10. They have labeled 10. There are 10 types of energies. I'm going to tell you that not only do I trump their 10, but I add 10 more to it. But we'll get to that momentarily. The second one is mechanical. So we have chemical, then mechanical energy. The third, you ready for this? The third energy is nuclear energy. The fourth, gravitational energy. And the fifth, light. Light. So I'll give you those five again: chemical, mechanical, nuclear, gravitational, and light. That's the first five. So where's your head going with that? Where's your head spinning off in multiples of directions? Where's your head sort of processing that? I said to the beautiful Michelle tonight, I said, hey, Michelle, are you aware? Were you aware that there are 10 specific energies in the world? She was like, no, I didn't know that. I said, wow, you're going to learn something tonight too. So I said, then I told her, of course, I had come up with 10 more. So there are 20. There are 10 that the Boffins will go, yes. And there are 10 they'll go, well, you can't prove it. I go, okay, prove how electricity works. They can't. They just know it works. Static electricity. One lovely listener has put down. Yeah, that would still fall under the heading of electricity, and also static electricity could fall under the heading of mechanical. Okay, but thank you very much for putting that through. Really appreciate it. Keep it coming. So don't forget, we're coming to you tonight. We're zooming towards the big day, 25th of December. Well, I actually think the big day is the 24th of December, but there we go. 25th of December, Christmas Day, whether you celebrate it or not. I wish each and every one of you a happy holidays, happy Christmas, and a peaceful and loving time of year. You are listening to Paul Francis on Spirit Quest, The Journey of Life. And this is our second show of the series. And I tell you what, I am so thrilled to be doing this with you guys, especially when we're United Public Radio Network. We're coming to you at 105.3, 107.7 FM from the beautiful New Orleans. New Orleans, I can't wait to go there sometime. Music has energized me, says Merrick Erickson. Yes, said Mary. And music is one of the strongest healers as well. Music has a vibration. So music will actually fall under the heading of mechanical. It's amazing. This is interesting. I work from home and help her pipe person cold weather due to poor lady. What does that mean for her? I work in a home, help, and her pipe burst due to the cold weather. What does that mean for her? It means that she has somebody fantastic helping her like yourself, and thank you for doing that. There are a great many people sadly not enjoying this time of the year, but there are all of us. There is the rest of us who can do something about that. Like the link over from last week's show, for example. Last week's show was called "The Spirit of Christmas," the Christmas Spirit. That's the link of the energy coming across to the next show. So this show being about energy, the spirit of Christmas, that carries with it an inherent energy. It's a time of year when mankind, ladies and gentlemen of the world, put down our guards. We drop our inhibitions. We do things to help other people. I was watching a lovely gentleman on TV a couple of mornings ago who literally works for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of peoples and families around the UK at no cost. He fixes their boilers. He even brings them gifts. A real life Santa Claus. It's amazing to watch. Um, Julie Sharp says to me, same to your lovely family and yourself, a happy Christmas and the best New Year. Julie Sharp, thank you. That's very kind. Thank you so much. Mary says, sunlight. Yes, of course, sunlight. But that will come under light. But light in itself, let's not get into the science of light with photons, electrons, and all that kind of stuff. The concept of light falls very much into the journey of life. In fact, my next book, which I'm in the process of writing at the moment, is called Walking with the Light. And I was hoping that I would have it ready for this Christmas. Not even close, because every time I write a new chapter, another chapter comes into play and it opens up another chapter. And so I'm not going to rush this book. I'd rather do this book once only, and get it right. So we're going to be looking at 2023 for a release on Walking with the Light. One of the Facebook users has agreed with me because he's a fantastic man. Obviously, he watched that amazing story. This lovely Scouse gentleman, made my heart lift out of my chest. So the thread across from is obviously the spirit of Christmas. So with that inherent energy, we are lifted. We are lifted as people. We are motivated. We're sort of we kind of become that person that we've wanted to become all time for all time. We've always wanted to be the person who puts their hand out and helps somebody else up. The person who puts a jumper around someone when they're cold, or a cardigan or a cloak around someone when they're cold, who feeds them when they're hungry, who makes them laugh when they're sad, and who takes away the pain, be it physical or mental or spiritual pain. I do what I can for people. A lot of you have recognized that. I don't do it for the recognition. I do it because it helps me. Um, I said in last week's show, now let's talk about that energy concept. I said in last week's show, which do you prefer, opening a gift or watching a gift being opened that you've given? Everybody said watching the gift being opened. That energy, that power that comes from your, oh my God, they're enjoying what I've given them, and the person over goes, oh my God, this is what I've got. That energy that combines together is literally impenetrable. You can't do anything against that. It is so strong. Now your house is being filled with that energy, and that is where that Michelle and I both agree that the veil between the two worlds is at its thinnest. Not Halloween, now. Okay, well, this energy is building up and up and up. This is the time for all the paranormal investigators to go working. This is the time when they want to get out there and do the things, because they will have far more results now than they would have at any other time, because the energies are so great. Okay, so that was me. Said that's Jules. Thank you, Jules. I'm really sorry. Just for a little while, put your names on there so I can say. Did you say Jules? I know who it is. Keep keep everything coming. I want to see you guys talking to me, and don't forget, please share the show. Now, if you are listening to me on FM radio, then you are you can come on to the show. You can come on to go onto the website and click on and find us on UnitedPublicRadioNetwork.com. click in there and you will be able to find us and come in and watch the show. But if you are listening to us in a car, then drive safely. Needless to say. So the second five, what do you think they might be? The second five, basically, the first of the second five is radiant energy. So that's the kind of energy you would get come from the sun, radiant energy. And yes, in there, sound energy. Sadly, I read somewhere quite recently they're trying to use and create sound weapons. Okay. Let's pick something that's amazing and make it into a weapon. That tells you everything. That tells you absolutely everything. Sound. Number 8 in the top 10 is motion, not emotion, motion. Motion. So energy, motion. Number 9, thermal energy. Okay. And lastly, which has already been mentioned, electric. So the top 10 energies depicted by the scientists and the boffins of the planet are: 1, chemical, mechanical, nuclear, gravitational, light, radiant, sound, motion, thermal, and electrical. When I read those 10, I went, that that's not 10 energies. Because I immediately adapted all of those to what I would think I'd be using. So I thought to myself, well, no, because when I'm grounding myself, I link myself to the earth. And when I'm raising my energies up, when I'm going to work as a medium, I send them up into the universe. So none of those have been mentioned. So, you guys, very strong energy tonight. Oh, thank you very kindly. It's very lovely of you to say. Um, I'm going to. I've given you the 10 that the boffins have said. Now, you guys, see if you can come up with the other 10. Bearing in mind, think of this from a point of view of a person, both spiritual and metaphysical. Okay. One of you have already mentioned, and we've already talked about it, laughter. Okay. Laughter is an amazing energy. Okay. Laughter has so much cure in it, so much happiness based upon laughter. And you can laugh until you cry, weirdly enough. So it can impose super emotion, laughter. But the biggest part of laughter, healing, without fail. So if it heals and it creates great atmosphere, it's creating great energy within your home. Now, those of you who've got my book, The Safe Way, which is available. Oh, by the way, great Christmas gift. It's available on digital download, by the way. So, The Safe Way, it talks about energy in your home, how it affects you physically and how it affects you metaphysically, and how you affect it. So it's a two-way circle there. Okay, yin and yang. So laughter is the first one. You've already mentioned that. I'm going to give you the second one, emotional energy. Emotional energy, which is a derivative down from laughter, but not only just created, emotional energy isn't just created by laughter, it's created by a multitude of things. Okay. Um, and basically, anger is the counterpart to laughter, but in itself, a very forceful energy. Liz Kennedy says to me, "Hi, Paul," from freezing Scotland. Well, I tell you what, I know because I saw you guys on TV this morning under many feet of snow. And do you know what? What it kind of spurred in me was a sense of, oh, I want to be there. And Johanna says to me, if we had bought, because we were looking at a house in Scotland too, she said, if we had bought that house, we'd been snowed in. And I went, yeah. And I didn't see any negativity to that. That tells you everything, doesn't it? So Liz says hi from freezing Scotland. Well, Liz, hi and welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. Please, 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 y'all, please make sure that you share the show. Okay. And help us get out to a lot more users throughout the globe. So if you've got any questions for me tonight based upon energy, please send them to me. Once again, thank you to all of the kind people who sent me questions and messages of congratulations from around the globe, from different parts of the country and different parts of the world, all saying, congratulations, well done on your first show. Personally, when I listened back to it, you could tell there was nerves in there because I got two. I went through two particular parts of the show literally in minutes. So that was me going. So I thought to myself, right, take a breath, Paul. Breathe in and take the show gently and let people understand because you speak too fast as it is. If you've got any questions for the show, please do put them through to me. You can send them through to me directly here on our link at www.unitedpublicradionetwork.com. And you can click on there, put on the show, and send your message through to me and your question, and I will definitely talk to you. Liz says, I sketch spirit. Will I get what? Most gifts do you think? I didn't understand what that was there, Liz. You might have to write that to me again. I sketch spirit. Well, sketching spirit and is an amazing gift in itself. One or two of my dear friends actually do that as their show. Will I get a something mode gifts? Do you think? I don't know what you're asking me, Liz, but I'll do. You might have to reread that. So I'm just going to put Liz's. As will I get any more? Okay, I gotcha. Um, no reason why you shouldn't really, to be honest with you, because the concept of the energy is around you, and it's whether or not you were able to tap into that. But we're going to talk about that with my special guest coming up in a little while, Roger Garza Senior. Now, you all listen to Roger Garza's show at the weekends and the middle of the week, so he's going to come on and have a wee chat to me. Roger's show was on last night, but we'll talk about that when he comes on. So I talked about the 10 extra energies that I brought that I researched and what I would use as part of my everyday work. So laughter, emotional. Here's one that is going to provoke you. Thought. Thought creates energy. Okay. Thought. Think about it. See the link, pun. Julie Sharp's telling me, got snowed in Scotland for 2 weeks when I was younger. Never again. I cried the whole time. How could you be crying when you were a lot younger? Get away with it and being snowed in. I'd have been out there making snowballs, skiing, having sledging, whatever possible fun I could get. You can be assured. And in fact, knowing me and my pals, we'd probably try and make an igloo. We'd probably do something as daft as that. That kind of reminds me when I'm with my dearest friends, my friends who we've been friends. Well, in fact, we worked it out only last week. We've been close friends for 44 years. 44 years. Now, knowing them, and when we get together, the energy is epic. Epic. Okay. We go through thought of all of the things that we did when we were younger, all our camping trips, all our night trips out to nightclubs and various bars and discos. And people are going, what's a disco? That's what we used to call nightclubs in the 80s, discos. So the energy is really, it buzzes, and it's a bit like a Christmas energy because we're so happy to be together again. Because most of the guys live in Ireland still. Two of us live over here. Sean lives up in Manchester. I live down the southwest, and the rest of the lads still live in the area where we grew up, County Armagh. So when we all get together, it's epic. So there's a load of lovely energy there to be had. Now, the laughter and fun that we have, it's healing for each one of us. Okay, so you're noticing there's a mold happening around tonight's show. Okay, laughter, fun, healing. Think about that. Okay, start adapting that into your way of life. Laughter, fun, healing. In fact, I actually got approached going, why is it okay for you to be happy all the time? What is it about you that you're happy all the time? And excuse me, I couldn't believe I was actually being not threatened, that wasn't the right word, but being confronted for being happy. I used to carry a nickname when I was doing lots of circuits and doing lots of shows and theaters and stuff, and they used to call me the comedian because I used to have fun on stage. And a lot of people couldn't understand why I would be seeing the subject matter in a funny light, because literally, them up there, our friends, family across the head, they don't see it as a negative. That's why. And when you're in spirit, do you think you want to look back at your family being sad, or do you think you might want to see them being happy? I don't know. What do you think? So Barry Ibrahim has written. I can't understand what you've written there, Barry. I beg your pardon. So if you'd be so good as to, he's written it down. I'm going to put it up on the front so everybody can see what Barry's written. I have no idea what it is, but he's obviously doing something which he's advertising his WhatsApp. So what we're going to do is we're going to hide that, and we're going to say to Barry, goodbye, have a great day, and thanks for being on the show. So keep them coming. Keep the questions and links coming in, and keep sharing the show. So we have laughter, emotional, and thought. The next one is magnetic. They didn't have they seem to have that in their top 10. Magnetic energy is amazing. So what I mean by magnetic energy is you've watched my show Reach Across. You've been a part of my shows for the last XYZ years. You know that I've taught you over and over what you give off as energy is what you attract. The law of attraction, magnetic energy. So if you're happy and upbeat, which I choose to be, by the way, okay, and that's why they were saying, well, why come you're happy all the time? It's because I choose to be happy. Okay, you don't. Nothing can make you feel sad. You have to choose the sadness. Alrighty. So the magnetic energy. If I give off a happy, light going, and a magnetic energy, then I draw people to me who are of the same ilk, happy people. And guess what? The more we draw happiness to ourselves, the more that we draw a more positive uplift, the more people get together creates more energy, and we pump that out even further. It's what I call dropping the pebble in the pond scenario. Okay, you can either have a negative pebble, boom, and it goes into the pond, out goes the ripples. Yes, loads of negative energy. Why do you want to do that? Alrighty. Or you can choose to do exactly the same thing, but with a positive based energy, a positive pebble. Plop, in it goes. Out goes those positive waves. And guess what? What you're giving off, you attract. Remember that. Take that on board, people. Okay? When you get into a kerfuffle, when you are in a situation where you're finding yourself getting angry, getting negative, and going down, stop. Bang, stop. Go, okay. Like for an example, I want to give you basic examples. When my children used to literally go off, shouting, screaming, and that, and I went to actually have a pop at them, going right. I would stop myself and I would say to myself, right, am I going to shout at the kids because they're being children, or am I tired and just not in the right form of mind, right space? 90% or 95% of the time, I was tired or not in the right space of mind. So I trained myself to stop, think, and act. Okay? Stop, think, and act. Stop. I was about to shout at the kids. So if I shout at the kids and I break them having a good time, laughing and screaming and carrying on, have I done something good there? No. I've stopped the children having a great time. And what do you think that's going to do? Hello, back to negative pebble. Blup. So that goes out. The kids get down sad. Mom comes home and says, what's the matter with you two? Blah, 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 blah. Dad told us off. All right. What'd you tell the kids off for? Guess what? Negative whirlpool of energy. I have to explain then. I wasn't feeling happy. They were getting on my nerves. All right. So, and this, you know where this conversation is going from going out. So I trained myself. Stop, think, act. Stop. Right. Am I about to shout at the kids because I'm just tired and overly emotional? And so what I used to say to the kids, hey kids, listen, tell you what are you doing? What kind of fun are you having? Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Can dad get involved? No, dad, we're playing it. Well, if I can't involve, we'll take it upstairs. Thanks very much, kids. So I got my way without any negativity ever happening. There you go, gentlemen. Take that in line. Now I want to share my darling friend Liz Kennedy. She's just said, Liz Kennedy sent me a beautiful message saying, my hubby has passed. My hubby passed. Beg your pardon. On the 27th of November. First of all, Liz, I am so very sorry to hear that. Sending you all our love and all our healing and all the strength and the spirit we have around us to help you at this sad time. However, she follows that up with a beautiful message and she says, I'm happy for him. Wow. I'm happy for him that he's not in pain. And that in itself is healing for me. Liz, I wanted to share that because what an amazing message. What a beautiful, beautiful. Do you know what? It's that nice. It should be on a Christmas card. My hubby passed on the 27th of November. So very sorry to hear that. But I'm happy for him that he's not in pain. And then that in itself is healing for me. My darling Liz, I can tell you right here and right now that your husband will be around you pretty much 100% of the time at the minute. Okay. Because he and himself will have linked up with all of his friends and family on the other side of life. Now, as he crosses through the veil into the next life, okay, he is immediately met with his friends and family that he mourned. Okay. So think about this for a second, guys. We're still on the concept of energy. We're still based upon that concept, right? We're still on energy. Just to remind you, though, coming up in the second half of the show, I've got a special guest, Roger Garza Sr., and this is where the kind of the link will be coming through in a minute, where the link for dealing with spirit and spirit energy. So, as your dear husband has passed through, Liz, he is then he's then crossed over by someone special. So whomever that may be, it may be his mother, maybe his sister, brother, but a family member will cross him across and they will orientate him. By that I mean he will then be introduced to all of the people that he mourned in his time. So all of the people he thought he lost, all of the people who went ahead of him, he's now reconnected to. So just think for a second, what kind of energy do you think that gives off? He's realized not only is he no longer ever going to be in pain again, okay, he's in a place of absolute perfection, in a place of absolute serene peace. And not only that, but he's with all of the people he ever knew who he lost. He's then reorientated and shown how he can connect with you, what he can do to help you, and what he can do to help all the other family members who are going through his loss at the same time. He's able to do that. He's able to do so much more. And that message that you've given, I'm happy for him that he's not in pain. That in itself is healing. Wow. That in itself has helped me tonight, Liz. Thank you, my love. Jenny Lee O'Brien says, hey, I'm new here. Well, Jenny Lee, you are welcome. You're welcome. Thank you very much for being here. And I do hope you enjoy our show. I'm Paul Francis, and you're listening to Spirit Quest, The Journey of Life, where I basically talk about and interact with what it is that makes up our journey through this life and crosses across to the next one, and how all the people on the other side of life can re-interact with us. I have taught people around the globe. I've taught many students how to become psychic mediums. And I've taught people around the globe that you actually don't need a medium, that you have the ability yourself. Okay, you have two ears, so you can listen. You have your energy or your senses, which you can use and they can use to connect with you through sight, sound, touch, smell, and taste. And they can connect to you through another energy level, which is the energy level of sleep. So they can come in on what's called the theta level. You got alpha, beta, and theta. Alpha is when you're like now, wide awake and you're acknowledging and interacting with everything. Beta is that bit where you're like about in drifting off and you're in a stage where you can be hypnotized. Theta, boom, you're gone. That's when you're in deep sleep. That is when our friends and family and spirit can interact with us. Now, has Paul gone off the whole theme of tonight's show, energy. No, he hasn't, because while we're in that theta stasis, if you want to call it, okay, we're reinvigorating, we're regathering energy, we're resting. So while we are resting and we're regathering energy, they can come in what we refer to as dream state. Most mediums will tell you it's not a dream. You'll think it's a dream, but there are two massive differences. The dream state is called a visitation. Now, that is worth a million readings, okay? And that's where I come in and say, you see, you connected to your loved one, so you don't need mediums. Alrighty? Come to mediums, come to people like me to maybe sort of maybe make sense of some stuff that you've connected with, because we can connect with your friends and family. Hopefully, it's not like McDonald's. I don't turn up and go, I want to talk to that one. They'll come. I mean, I'll always put the energy up that they want to hear from, and you're coming to a session to say, I'd love to hear from. So the message is going up, can you get such and such, bring them forward? They don't always come forward, and they definitely don't come forward on demand. And any medium that tells you different is lying to you. It's not McDonald's. We don't decide who we want to talk to. The person that gets through can connect in with me is the person that we talk to. So um Liz is also talking about dogs. Yes, lots and lots of dogs in spirit. They go to the same place. Okay, there's not doggy heaven and person heaven. The amount of times during reads that they have said to me, we have the dog, we have the cat, we have the bird. In one case, I was actually standing on a stage and I looked over to my right and I could literally see in my peripheral vision, an outline of a horse. A horse. And as I was talking to the family, I said, listen, you know, they showed me a horse. And one of the girls started crying because they just lost their horse. Janine says, that's fantastic. Well, Janine, thank you very much for being here. Please share the show. Share the show with all your friends and family. Get them to come in. Share them the link. Tell them to come on in and be a part of the show. And tell them that we're on every Thursday night. So every Thursday night, if you're in Eastern Time America, it's 6 p.m., so prime time. On the 15th of December, 2022. Only 10 sleeps, by the way. 10 sleeps to Christmas. 10 more sleeps. Woohoo! And to the spirit of Christmas. And then, of course, the next show will be on the 22nd, which is only a few days before Christmas. So next week, next Thursday night, 22nd of December will be the next show. Giving you a heads up. Put it in your diary. Liz Kennedy says, Spirit come here when they're ready. Well, kind of yes, kind of no. They come there when you need them. Alrighty? So if you're giving off that energy that you really need help, then boom, they come in and they're around you. Okay, it's not like us. We don't get into a car. We us here, human beings on this earth, physical. If we want to go somewhere, we got to get into a car and go somewhere. Spirit energy works completely different. They just move at the speed of thought. They think they're there. So it's a different concept. So they can be with you when you need them. Lynn Fern says, I've had 3 visitations. And visitations are worth 1,000 readings, million readings, because that's your direct connection with your loved ones you've crossed over. No, I haven't lost my mind. Think about that connection. When you think about that connection you had with that loved one, the difference between a dream and a visitation is you will remember absolutely everything that happened in the visitation, from what time it happened at, where it happened at, what you were talking about, what the connection was, what they were wearing, what you were wearing, and everything about it. That's the difference between a visitation and a dream. A dream is made up of all of the thought processes and all of the memories and all of the emotions that you've encountered during the day. So basically, your subconscious is like kind of pigeonholing everything like that, putting things in different places in your mind. And while it's doing that, it can then link into that particular thing. Oh, packet of biscuits over cheesecake. And you're like, packet of biscuits, cheesecake, what? And then you'll have these weird dreams because it's made up of conscious and subconscious concepts and memories, and you'll have weird dreams. Let me give you a heads up. If you want to laugh and have a weird dream, eat protein or drink protein before you go to bed. Eat cheese, drink milk. some chocolate before you go to bed, and you'll have weird dreams. Janine says, Paul, um, do you think those in spirit could send you messages and signs through dreams? Yes, Janine. Jenny Lee, beg your pardon. They do. They will talk to you in multiples of ways. The dream state, which we refer to, if they're talking to you direct, Jenny Lee, they're talking to you through what we call a visitation. That's the difference. Okay, a visitation, like I said, you'll remember everything. It's yes, it's construed as a dream, but you'll remember every aspect of that particular dream. Hence, we call it a visitation. Yes, they can give you messages. I received one myself. I received several myself, but in the loss of my dear mum, when I lost her. Now, bearing in mind, when I lost my mother, I was at that point a professional, fully working TV, radio, theater medium. I was out there. I was doing it. I'd even written a book by that stage. Yeah, I'd written one or even two, maybe. And when she passed, my work didn't cure. It wasn't a cure for what I had to deal with. I lost the the connection. I lost that whole thing, and I couldn't. And what it was clouding the issue was anger. One of the 10 extra energy points that I was talking about. Anger is one of the 10. Now, anger shuts things off. Boom, big doors, shuts you off. And the 10, the anger concept of losing my mother. And I wasn't angry. I was kind of angry at her for going away. The tiny, tiny part of that was I was angry at the doctors for not saving her, but I was angry most at my guides who didn't give me a heads up on how to save her. That's who I was angry most at. I even remember saying out loud, shouting with from my lungs. I went way down in one of the fields in our farm in Ireland, and I shouted, I have saved, literally saved people, literally saved their lives. And you couldn't help me save my mother? What the hell? And I shouted and I screamed because I was packed full of anger. You see the connection to energy again? I literally roared, how come you didn't help me save my mother, yet you helped me save other people? I was angry. I was demotivated. I was um, furious. I was everything that goes along with losing someone. But I didn't have Liz's connection at that time, Liz Kennedy. My mom was very, very, very ill. She had cancer that started in her kidneys, in her spine, in her lungs, and moved up into her brain. She was in pain beyond belief. And I didn't think from the concept that she's no longer in pain, which I should have really. But do you know what? What I went through was natural. Okay. So she came through to me in a dream visitation, and I sat up in bed crying like a baby. Couldn't deal with it. Couldn't deal with it. She came through on another but this the second time she came through. She came through on a phone call. I remember the visitation. I was in my aunt's house, and my aunt picked up the phone. She said hello, and she was talking, and she looked back at me, smiling, and she said, "It's for you." I said, "What? Who would be ringing me on your phone?" And she said, and she smiled. She went, "It's for you." So I picked the phone up, and it was my mother. And she said, "Hi, darling, it's me." And I was like, "Mom?" And she goes, "Yeah, it's me." Once again, sitting on the end of the bed, crying like a baby. Couldn't deal with it. Could not deal with it. Third time she came through. Okay, these are three visitations that healed me. The third time she came through, we were in the hospital where she passed, where she had cancer. And at every evening around 6:30, we all had to go to the canteen because they would be redressing my mother, cleaning her, bathing her, and all of that kind of stuff, and redoing her meds and all that stuff. So we went down to the canteen. So the dream state started in the canteen. And I remember standing up in the canteen and looking across, and I saw my mom walking across to me. And I went, oh. And she came right up, but she was missing her arm. Her right arm was missing. And she said to me, "Hi," and I was like, "Oh, hello." And she said to me, "I can come home now." And I said, "But what about your arm?" And she said to me, "Well, it was either keep the arm and die, or lose the arm and come with you." And I said, "So you chose to lose the arm?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "And you're okay?" She goes, "Yes, I'm absolutely brilliant." I said, "Shall I get the car?" She goes, "Yeah, go and get the car." And as I got up to go and get the car in this visitation, I came out of it. I came out of the dream, and I woke up. For a second, I was sad. For a second, I was like, "Oh, it was a dream." But I realized I wasn't in tears, and I wasn't crying, and I wasn't down negative. And it was a few days later, I bumped into my brother, who's about as spiritual as a brick, who doesn't believe in anything that I do, doesn't believe in any kind of religion. He's There's agnostic, and then there's a level that he goes to. So I told him about the dream, and he goes, "Yeah, that'd be right, wouldn't it?" And I was like, "What do you mean that's right?" He goes, "That was Mom's best and favorite saying." And I was like, "What are you on about?" And he goes, "My mother used to say I'd give my right arm for that," and it didn't click with me. And I went, oh, "Of course." Her right arm was missing, but she was telling me I would give my right arm to be with you, but I'm happy. And it took a complete agnostic to fill in the last bits of that message. But the energy that created helped me move through the loss of my mother, and similarly the loss of my dad. Um, so the energy that we have comes to us in floods. Okay, it's up to us, and there is no one truth of how to handle that particular type of energy. There's no one way of doing it. Each one of us will all um, act upon that kind of a loss, or even the visitation, differently. Okay, but Janine or Jenny Lee, yes, they will talk to you. Yes, they will give you messages, and yes, they're 100% accurate. Whereas mediums can get it wrong, and any medium tells you different. That's not the medium to be around. Thank you so much, Jenny Lee, for your question. Keep them coming. She says, "I'm so sorry about your mom." Jenny Lee sent me a quick message saying, "I'm so sorry about your mom. Darling, thank you very, very much. But I know she is absolutely, totally, and utterly happy. She's with my dad. She's with all her family in spirit. And this was some time ago, but just wanted to show you that 25 years ago, I lost my mother, but that visitation is still very fresh in my mind. Each one of those links I remember right today. Okay. I can even share ones with my dad, but those for another show. Liz is saying, wow. Thanks, Liz. So look out for how your dear husband will be around you, my darling. Look out for how he will talk to you, because he will use all the energy of Christmas. He use all the energy that your friends and family bring to you around this time. And the more you can keep that up, the easier it is for him to connect. So let me share with you the 10 spiritual or connected energies that I have come up with, apart from the 10 energies that the science boffins come up with. So, with the 10 that I've come up with: laughter, a massive one and a big healer; emotional, which we have to deal with, which we've just been talking about; thought, so what you give off as thought, you attract as energy. Okay, that's an absolute given fact. What you give off as thought, you attract as energy. Okay, how many times have you looked at something and gone, what are you thinking about? What's on your mind? Because you can feel it. It's energy. Okay. Magnetic, of course, the law of attraction. And let's move on down a bit more. Auric energy. Now, I'm going to come back to auric energy in a minute. Okay. But that's the first five: laughter, emotional, thought, magnetic, the law of attraction, and auric. But I just wanted to stop for a second, have a wee break, and just tell you that you are listening to Paul Francis, and Spirit Quest, The Journey of Life. And it's brought to you by the wonderful people at United Public Radio Network, which is coming to you on 105.3 and 107.7 FM from the beautiful state and town of New Orleans. And thank you very much to those wonderful people for being setting this profile up so I can be here and talk to you guys. Thank you for being here yourselves. Don't forget, share the show. Liz Kennedy says it was his best. Christmas was his best time of the year, and the same with my mom. Um, and same with pretty much most of us. We all tend to miss our families most at this time of the year because we feel slightly guilty for being happy. Don't do that, right? Don't feel guilt. First of all, guilt is a non-helpful emotion to have. Get rid of it. I've actually gone and worked hard to get rid of guilt out of my life. Get rid of it. It's a negative energy. You don't need it. Don't have guilt in your life. If people come to you and they'll try to use things against you, that's called the guilt complex. Don't have it. Just get rid of it. So, when you're in spirit, when you're looking back at your family at this time of the year, do you think you're going to want to see them sad when they should be literally bouncing with joy? Of course you're not. So remember that. Your friends and family in spirit do not want to see and observe you being sad, down, or an emotional wreck and in tears at this time of the year. People who lose people at this time of the year, it's going to happen. It's natural. Okay. But I always say that love is the other side of grief. We lose somebody, we enter grief, and then we work through it. People say time heals grief. No, it bloody doesn't. Alrighty? Absolute total trash, rubbish, whatever you want to say. Time doesn't heal that wound. We just become used to that wound. Alrighty? It gets easier and easier with time to be able to handle that pain. However, try and help to handle that pain by knowing that they're in a place of absolute peace, tranquility, and they're with everybody that they lost in their lives. They're with them now, and they are around you and watching over you. That is absolute fact, and I have proved it thousands of times through the great many years I've been working as a psychic medium. Fly high, Benny, says Liz. Once again, perfect. Liz, you're an absolute gem for being on the show tonight. Thank you very much. She set up her tree for him, but actually, you should be thinking about this, my sweetheart. You should be setting it up for you both and for your family as a beacon of energy and light for our remembrance. Now, last week's show, which was called "The Spirit of Christmas," the Christmas Spirit, I'd received messages to say set the place. What that meant was when you're setting the Christmas table, set the place for Benny. He'll be there. Right. So coming up shortly tonight, ladies and gentlemen, will be my guest, Roger Garza Senior, and I will be bringing him on very very shortly. And tell me what your thoughts are, though, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, about the show. Are you enjoying it, please? Because the only physical feedback I'm getting is with you guys here in the chat room. And obviously, I'll get the rest from all of you guys on Facebook and messages and emails. And you can go and visit my website, of course, www.paulfrancis111.com. You can go in there and have a look at that. And you can send me messages directly from there, too. Tell me what you think about the show. And, of course, tell me what you think about the first 5 of the extra energies, such as laughter, emotional, thought, magnetic, being the law of attraction, and auric. And we will be discussing auric shortly. Okay. There are 2 extra. I went to another website, which was a scientific website, and they said there are 2 other types of energy. One is kinetic, and the other is potential. That was the one that I had to make note of. Potential. And I had to write that down. And this comes from a scientifically based website. I'm not going to share it because I'm not allowed to. But they said there are 2 most important energies. One is kinetic and the other is potential. And I thought to myself, amazing, mind blowing, potential. Okay. Every single thing on this planet has potential. Everything. Okay. There is nothing that's not achievable. Okay. The only limits we have are the limits we set ourselves. Alrighty. I was having this conversation with my beautiful daughter, Rosie, who came to visit me yesterday. She's down from Bristol, down having a visit. She's the pediatric specialist, nurse specialist, and we were talking about yesterday how your own mindset limits your achievements. Because she and I had a conversation many years back where I said I'm going to buy this house, and she said, "Dad, that's a £500,000 house," and I said, "Isn't that funny? I see the house, you see the price." And that's the difference. So the potential is I'm going to have that house because my focus is on it. So the magnetic or law of attraction was I'm going to draw that energy to me and how I'm going to achieve that house. And some years later I did. But so I'm going to, in a moment, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to find Roger. So, Roger, if you're listening to the show, get ready to come across. I will be sending you a link momentarily, my dear friend, and you can be a part of our show. Come in and talk with me, and we will have a chat about Roger's, how Roger came about his abilities, how he came about his gift, as he refers to it, and how that has affected his life energetically. Okay. So we'll talk about that once I've brought Roger on. But are you ready for the final five? Okay. Here's one that they haven't spoken about. Divine. Divine energy. Now, there are a lot of people out there who go, oh yeah, divine energy on blah 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 blah. Yet they will talk about spiritual energy. They will talk about going to various churches, various synagogues, various you know, whatever you want to call them all over the world, but that comes through as a divine energy. I mean, the word. Sorry, I'm trying to get it in my head. Oh, what do you call those Japanese pilots that aim their planes at the suicidal Japanese pilots? Their name was the Divine Wind. That's what their name came through. So one of them is divine, then spiritual or ghost energy. Then a ghost is energy and spiritual energy. ESP, extrasensory perception, which could fall under the heading of potential. I've already mentioned anger, kamikaze, which means divine wind. Thanks very much, Lynn. And of course, the energy you possess. What is that? Chakra, which connects to auric energy. Okay, so chakra energy and auric energy. Although they're two separate energies, they are both connected together. Alrighty. So I will sort of come back down to auric energy momentarily. But I wanted to talk to you quickly before we bring Roger in. I wanted to talk to you about the spirit or ghost energy. A lot of people think spirit and ghost, same thing. They are certainly not. Okay. Here's a best and simple way of figuring this out. Number one, ghost energy is a repetitive connections. Best is very much the best way and easiest way to describe what ghost energy is a replay or a recapture of time. Energy that is within the fabric of the building it's connected to or the place it's connected to. So the best way to describe a ghost would be like a videotape on constant replay. Okay. So you'll react to the ghost, of course. You'll go, ah! It won't react to you. It'll just carry on doing whatever it was going to do or whatever it did at the time it was recorded. Um, sort of big stone buildings have a very strong connection to that kind of energy. Where there's granite, for example, granite is an amazing caption of that particular type of energy. So ghost energy is a ghost. It will happen. It won't react with you, but you'll react with it, of course. But it'll just carry on doing whatever it was going to do at the time it was recorded. So that's a ghost. Spiritual energy is something completely different. A spiritual energy will interact with you and you will interact with it, and it will cause changes of energy around you. Now, if you're a common watcher of some of these ghost or paranormal investigation programs on television, and wherever you are in the country, wherever you are in the world, you will see things where they will affect the batteries of camcorders or the batteries of recording scenarios, recording equipment, or batteries of any kind. They can tap in and affect the energy within a battery. So spiritual energy has the ability to affect physical energy. Okay. It has also the ability to tap into physical energy. Now we're getting somewhere. We're crossing over spiritual to physical and physical to spiritual. Okay. So this is a place where you can help your loved ones. Okay. Now you can build up the energy in your house in a positive way, and that will help your loved ones connect and link in with you. Alrighty. So that's where those two cross over. Now, well, as I said, I can jump from point to point to point to point, and we could be here for another 5 weeks just talking about this topic, but we don't have that particular amount of time. I'm going to bring Roger on at quarter past. So Roger, you got 5 minutes to get yourself ready, literally. But I wanted to hop across to the where the chakras and the aura sort of connect within each other. Now, the chakras, red, orange, green, yellow, blue, indigo, and violet, which move up through the center of the body. The red chakra being the grounding chakra connects us to the earth. The white or the violet energy connects us to spirit and the universal energies. Now, that in itself is a show, and I will definitely go into that in itself in a show. Probably in 2023, because we've only got one more show before Christmas. But the aura energy that you have will, shall we say, 90% of people's auric energy is out of phase or out of whack and needs balancing. 90%. Especially if you've gone through a loss, you can be absolutely sure that your auric energies are completely out of whack. Okay. And rightly so, naturally so. I can teach you how to balance that. In fact, on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, there is a particular particular show which is entitled "Clearing," the clearing, and it'll teach you how to balance your chakras and sort of invigorate and balance your auric energy. Now, how many of you lovely, lovely people around the globe have walked into a building? Let's say, for example, let's pick something simple. You go in to look at an apartment or you go to look at a house and you walk in through the door. What's the very first thing you do? What's the first thing you see? I'm going to give you a second to think about that while I have some water. Okay. You walking through the door. What's the very first thing you think of? I heal myself, says Liz, with Reiki energy. Brilliant. Thank you very much. And yes, we're still on that healing concept. So you walk in through the door of this particular apartment you're going to look at, and or a house you're going to view to maybe purchase or rent. Very first thing you do is you go to see how the house feels, like how it feels. You walk in, you go, oh. You'll either get, oh, I feel at home here. Or you'll feel, oh, this feels cold. It may not be physically cold, but it feels cold. It feels happy. It feels sad. It feels like something's going on wrong here, or feels like there's been a lot of love in this house. It feels right, or it'll feel wrong. That is how your aura or your energy field taps in to the energy field in that particular property. Now, whether you know it or not, you can physically change that. Okay. And I can teach you how to do that. In fact, if you've got my book, The Safe Way, there's a whole chapter on clearing energy in your house, how to clear it, how to balance it, and how to protect it. Hence, The Safe Way. Okay. Now we're zooming. We're almost quarter past. So, whilst I'm going to go off and find Roger, I'm going to literally click the invite button right now, and I'm going to send a quick message to Roger to then come in and be a part of a show. I'm going to tell you about the lovely people who are with us and who have brought our show with you. So just sending that across to Roger. Click that, buddy, and come and join the show. So we are brought to you tonight. You are listening to Paul Francis, Spirit Quest, The Journey of Life, and brought to you by the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7 FM. Brought to you from the magnificent, the beautiful, the serene New Orleans. I hope you're having a wonderful night, a wonderful day, wherever you are in the world. We are having listeners from tonight. We've got listeners from Ireland, Scotland, Wales, UK, obviously all over America, New Zealand, Australia, and I saw one from Spain earlier. So we're literally zooming across the globe, and lovely to see. If you are interested, just while we're waiting on Roger, if you are interested, you can go on to Amazon, type in Paul Francis, The Safe Way. Okay. Now, there is another chap, New York, says Rob. New York. New York. Where it's the apple, the big apple that never sleeps, the city that never sleeps, shall I say? New York. I do have a great many uh, friends and fans in New York City, and I have I was on a tour the year that COVID hit. I was planning to be on tour in the United States, and it was starting in New York, and the tour was going to end in Florida, but it never happened. So, ladies and gentlemen, I can see him in the house. There he
Thank you,
is,
baby. You got me on double now.
Roger. So, ladies and gentlemen, I can see him in the house. There he is. I can also hear a delay. So,
Okay, now how do I get the volume?
no, he's trying to figure it out. Roger Garza Sr. is
Hang
in the
on,
house.
I can't hear nothing.
You got to turn it up then, haven't you?
That's okay.
Get Faye
No
to fix it
volume.
for you. Get Faye to fix it. Okay. Now I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Well, how come I can't hear you then?
Because you've turned down your volume.
I'm gonna turn up. I got you on my cell phone, so
Okay, that's where the
but
delay
I'm
is,
getting
my
an
friend.
echo.
Turn up the volume on whatever you're watching us on. You've got it muted or something.
With the delay.
Yeah. So while
Okay, so
Roger's
here we
figuring,
are.
so while you're figuring that one out, I'll talk to the lovely people while you're figuring it out. So turn up your volume on your system so you can hear us. Um, the book The Safeway. Actually, Roger and Faye have a
Okay.
copy of it. They talk about it all the time. Bless them. Um, the book in itself covers everything about energy and about how to use it to your benefit, how you can use it to help you heal and help you fix, help you repel, and help you learn about making connections to your lovely friends and family who've crossed over. So, Roger, you're in the house. Can you hear us okay now? So, Roger, you're in the house. Can you hear us okay now?
Yeah, if I went through a delay, yes.
So I think probably what the problem is on the computer you're watching
See,
me,
I'm
you've
getting
got me
that
muted.
delay.
It's a big delay as well, by the way. I could do a reading in between the time and my voice gets to Roger. So Janine Lee O'Brien,
Yeah.
which is a good Irish name, by the way, has said, "Hi, Roger." So Roger, you're gonna have to fix that because there is literally a 2 second or 3 second delay between us.
So
You,
should I do like Lynn?
I don't know what does Lynn do. I'm almost frightened to ask.
Should I do like Lynn? Hello, hello,
So while he's sorting that out, if you've got any questions for us, then do come across and let us know in your comments. Click into the system tonight and be a part of our show. Put your comments down there. Um, there's somebody called ODME Julius. Please ignore that person.
Can you hear me
Uh,
or can I hear you? Or
can you hear me okay then, Roger? Oh, we
it's
need to get this
delayed,
sorted.
Paul.
Can you hear me okay then, Roger?
Yeah, but through my phone.
Okay. Then you've got a problem on your computer, my friend. You're muted somewhere on your system. Liz is saying hi, Roger. They're all saying hi, Roger. So while Roger's figuring that out, go and get the lovely Faye. She'll figure it out for you. Liz is saying hi, Roger. They're all saying hi, Roger. So while Roger's figuring that out, go and get the lovely Faye. She'll figure it out for you.
Honey,
Yeah. Get Faye to figure it out for you because you've obviously clicked something or you not clicked something, and getting a massive delay. Anyway, I'm very very glad
Put
that
yours
Roger
on.
has taken
I
the
can't
time
get
to come
on.
out on our show tonight. I'm
Please.
so very happy. Um, Now, while he's sorting it out and Faye's sorting it out for him, he'll come onto the show. Roger will tell you about what it is that instigated his connection to working with energy and spirit, and he will tell you about how it affects him. So how this type of energy affects him, it may affect me similarly, but it most likely will affect me differently because I've never ever seen two mediums that work the same. Roger has a habit of saying, "Oh, Paul's better than me." I have a habit of saying, "Roger, don't say that. I'm not better than you. I just work slightly different to you." There's a massive difference. So we'll just see now if he's managed. Are you back with us, buddy? We are having listeners from tonight. We have listeners from Ireland, Scotland, Wales, the UK. Oh, I can hear something else going on. Australia. Right, so he's got technical issues there. He is figuring it out. He will figure it out. He will be with us. So this is the whole concept of live radio. This is the whole concept of how this all works. And you know what? It's exciting. Okay, it's like when you walk on the stage to do a show. When I walk on the stage to do a particular show, I'm always really really scared that that there's nothing going to be there, and I'm going to walk on stage and go, right, what am I going to do? 2 hours or 3 hours of, um, hello, darling. The beautiful Faye has come on.
Turn that down, honey.
The beautiful Faye is Roger's beautiful wife, and she and
Hi.
Roger do a show
I'm
every
trying to
single
figure out how to have him talk, have him
twice a
hear
week.
you. He can't hear you.
That's okay. Figure it out,
Would you
Faye.
turn
No
that?
problem. So I can walk on the stage and be like, oh my God, I hope something happens here. But I was going to do a show one night in a beautiful theater in St. Austell, and I was doing it with a dear friend of mine. And she said to me, "You look nervous." And I said, "I am." She goes, "What are you nervous about?" And I said, "Well, I hope I make the links for the people." She goes, "Paul, it's not about you." And it was there that it was then I figured out, oh my God, she's right. I was too busy thinking about how I was going to be.
Everyone can see me. Uh,
I can see
I'm
you
sick.
and I can hear you, but you don't look sick. You look as
I
beautiful as
am not. I
always.
don't have any makeup on.
Oh, don't be daft. Makeup does not make it the person. The person maketh the person. And then, why do you have to have makeup on for radio? So we're having a giggle, we're having a laugh, and Roger's walking about with his phone in his hand. And so I'm going to put some questions to you, Roger.
Can you get that one to go
Roger,
live?
focus.
I mean, volume wise, because I can see his mouth moving. He can see me.
Are you focusing, Roger? Focus on me. He's blessing me, by the way, just so everybody in Radio Land can see. We're zooming through the time here, 23 minutes past. I've only got about a little over half an hour left. Roger, what I want to ask you is this. Tell our lovely listeners around the globe what it was that interlinked and hit that got you to
I don't understand it. I
become
wonder
or
is
become a medium, to become a psychic. What is it that? What was the actions that came into play?
yeah, but maybe that delay's there. I don't know, but I do hear you. Yes.
Okay.
You
Have
see?
you heard Michelle, my darling, who is working on our signboard? If you can go on to, if you can have a chat with Michelle, who knows the system inside and out, she might click in there and try and figure it out for you in a second. But I think it's because you've got so many systems going on that you've got so many systems in your offices, Roger, that they're all trying to take it all at the same time. So Roger, you're gonna have to fix that because there is literally a 2 second or 3 second delay between us. So he's listening. He's listening to systems that we spoke about 5 minutes ago, 6 minutes ago. Now, keeping on the whole theme of energies. Now we're going to hopefully have Roger come through to us in a minute. We're having technical issues, but that's okay. What the hey? We'll just deal with it. Roger can. Well, once he's got it figured, he'll come on and we'll go through what he wants to do. Um, He's got problems there, and we'll figure them out. We'll figure them out. Switch it all off and then switch it all back on again, Roger. That is the old fix. It always works. If you've got any questions for me or for Roger tonight, to be a part of it and let us know that you are with us tonight and enjoying the show. Um, Now, before I go any further, another part that I wanted to bring through with you guys tonight. Now, you're going to love this because I was sort of thinking about how to really sort of steer the show into how the energy of this show will help you through life. And I thought to myself, well, let's come up with something like Christmas thoughts. Now, I said to you before, thoughts in itself is what you
Truthfully
put.
speaking, Paul, this is embarrassing.
That's all right. Don't worry about it, buddy. You just take your time and figure it out. So, Roger, I'm going to put a post up. Roger, tell us all about you. There you go. So I'm going to put that in there. Tell us all about you. You can hear him battering away on the internets there. So here going back to Christmas short quotes. So right, so have a listen to this. Tell me what you think. Christmas isn't just a day; it's a frame of mind. Think about that and how that would affect you energetically. Okay, Christmas isn't just a day; it's a state of mind. All right, that's one. Another quote is, "Love the giver more than the gift." Again, thinking about that energy, that Christmas morning, which you prefer. You prefer watching a gift being opened or watching a gift that you've received. So love the giver more than the gift. It's Christmas in the heart that puts Christmas in the air. I was reading these earlier and I thought, I'm going to share these. They are so magnificent. It's Christmas in the heart that puts Christmas in the air. Christmas is a stocking stuffed with sugary goodness. I love that one. I thought, you know what? That brings me back to my childhood. And Christmas isn't the season, it's a concept. It's not a season, it's a concept. It's a concept that we should give all year through. And lastly, on this particular quote, it's the most wonderful time of the year, something I just could not let go. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Okay. So those were the little quotes I wanted to share with you guys. I love to give. I'm not a good receiver. Well, Liz, now while we're talking about that, while Roger's trying to get sorted out, that actually is a concept that you have to change. Okay. Now think about this. I'm staying on the still on the same concept of energy. I love to give, but I'm not a good receiver. When you don't give a person the opportunity. Now, think about this before I go into what I'm about to share with you. Think about this, okay? When you give a gift, how do you feel? How does it feel? I call it the Christmas effect. How do you feel when you give a gift and a person receives it? How do you feel? You feel magnificent. You watch them open the gift, you feel absolutely splendid, full of love, full of, the Christmas spirit, if you want to call it that. You feel magnificent. If you don't give someone the opportunity to give you a gift, you take that option away from them. Okay. So if you don't become the receiver or a good receiver, you take away that gift of giving to you. You see my point? So when you're feeling great in what you've given, you should also allow somebody else to feel great in giving back. Roger's having a laugh, which I'm glad to see.
I tried.
Can you hear me straight one on one right now?
Great. Paul, if you can hear me, ask me a question.
Okay, the question is, tell us all about how you came across and to use your gift. Okay, Lynn, tell us why your
This is
jury is still out,
funniest
my darling. Share. Why is your
your
jury still
funniest
out?
I had over there.
only got 30 minutes left, or actually, I've only got 15 minutes left because I got to talk about other stuff in a moment while our dear friend Roger is figuring it out. So
Keep,
he'll get the message through now. All right, we have serious issues, and Roger, and although I can hear him and he can hear me, there's something like it's gone from a 3 second delay to 10 second delay.
okay, ask me again, Paul. I have you on closed caption.
Okay, here's the caption. Tell us about you and your gift. There you go.
You want to know about my gift?
Yes. Yes. He
Okay.
says,
I received my gift 3 times.
okay,
The first time when I was about 15 years old, I almost drowned.
okay,
The second time, I had a heart attack and a stroke, and I passed over and I came back.
okay.
The third time, I was on the phone, a cordless phone, with my daughter. I was in Texas and she was up here in Minnesota, and I was talking to her like that, and lightning had hit outside in the ground, and a ray came through and went through my hand and the phone.
Wow.
So I tell everybody I received the Lord's touch 3 times.
Okay, so you didn't get it the first two times. um, also, he's a bit of a Jonah to be around, isn't he? You don't want to be around him if there's bad weather.
Thank you.
So it's great that you received that gift, and I've heard of that
I
concept.
tell everybody I'm a good luck charm.
Yeah. How has it affected you physically and metaphysically, as in energy? How has it affected you that way?
Oh, sleep, number one, sleep deprivation, if you want to call it that.
Uh huh.
Uh, you're constantly like a radar. You're constantly on.
Right.
You know,
Y-
you walk around. You go into a place of business, and you're doing this,
You're looking all around you. Okay.
and you look at people differently now because you see a spirit around them.
Okay. Now that's interesting that you say that because I actually believe and I was taught and I teach that you should have an off switch. Okay. That you should not be able to you shouldn't be open all of the time because it's actually quite dangerous.
Where is it?
It's you have to control it with yourself, but I'll show you how to do that. That's not it's not difficult. It's something that you can do. In fact, my teacher actually taught me it's like a zipper. You zip up when you're opening up, and you zip down when you're closed. Exactly. So, and you can do that. As like I say, that's for another show. But what I wanted to know is how energy works around you, how you affect energy, how it affects you. So you're talking about it takes away physical ailments and you're constantly open. But how else does it affect you? It must affect you in positive ways as well.
You know, Paul. A lot of times I've noticed when I'm walking down the street or something, a street light would start and go out.
Uh huh. Right. Okay. Now, if you read there what Liz has just put up, she goes, "I imagine a cloak and put a cloak around me." You could think the Harry Potter cloak of invisibility. So the cloak around Liz, sorry, I beg your pardon, is acts as her protection against that. But let's not go down that route, but because we're moving into another category of show. But I wanted to let people not figure out what it was that kick-started your gift, and how it affects you, and how you affect it, um, and how you use it, how you tap into it.
The very first time um, I heard a noise outside of my window, a big noise, like there was a convention going on. And so I went to the window and I was said, "Can you folks be quiet?" And I stopped. There was nobody there. That went on for 3 times. Finally, I yelled out to the top of my lungs, "Shut up! I'm trying to get some sleep." And
Right?
it stopped.
Okay.
And then afterwards, I noticed the gift is when I talked about on the show that I was talking to my daughter up here in Minnesota and I was in Texas. And I asked her who was, believe it or not, the name Paul.
Right.
And she said, "It's a friend of mine." I said, "Hang up the phone right now. I'm getting something very ugly." I said, "Please hang it up and call me back." She goes, "No, I'll call him later." I said, "No, call him now." I insisted she call him. So she called him, and apparently he answered the phone. "Hello." She said, "Paul, my dad feels something real ugly. What are you doing? What's wrong?" He started crying. He said I had to put the gun down to answer the phone.
Oh wow. Okay. So you were given that wonderful connection to be able to
That's when
help
I
that
knew I had
soul.
my gift.
Yeah. That's a gift, because you've given that connection that you had to spirit. You were given the
Paul, let
gift
me
of
ask you a
saving them.
question.
Yeah, sure.
Do you consider it a wonderful gift?
Y- y- yes, yes. There are times in my life when I thought different to that, but most of the time I would consider it a yes, because um, what I do with it helps people through the darkest times of their lives. But I will share this with you too. You're supposed to be talking, by the way, but I
Well,
will
what I
share
tell
this
a
with
lot
you.
of people is no matter what, once you're given the gift, you have to honor God. He let you live, so you have to do like serve Him now. And then you also have to take the bad and the good.
Okay, well, that's life, isn't it? So I can agree with that. Um, in all of the years of having this particular gift, it was the gift that brought my dad and me closest together at the last moments that I was with him.
That's good that you had it that way. I didn't know what I had until the latter years. You know, I lost my dad
Yeah.
early in life. I was only 22. But uh, believe it or not, because of my gift, Paul, I lost a lot of what I considered friends.
Oh well, that's going to happen. That's going to happen too. I mean, I've had a lot of people do the same thing, who thought I was cookie, and thought, you're away with the fairies and so on and so forth. But you know what? The people who are supposed to be around you will be around you, and the people who are not supposed to be around you won't.
I mean,
So
I thank the Lord that I do have the gift because I see stuff before it's going to happen. I've made
okay,
prediction on top of prediction, and I
yeah,
was right. You know, 9 times out of 10, I'm right. I don't want to be because of what I see being the gory stuff, but it is what it is, and I have to deal with that.
yeah, okay. I mean, see, that's where you and I differ. I don't see the premonitions, or the clairvoyance. But that what you're talking about is clairvoyance. Because I see it as part of a reading, and then, or I refer to it as a heads up. And yes, apparently I've given some of the scary and gory stuff. I don't know, because I don't get involved in it. I just let it flow through me. But a lot of the time, it comes back with people saying, "Oh, you said this and this happened," or "You predicted this and this happened." But I don't sit down to predict it. It's in part of the reading. It's like a story from spirit, and I tell the story, and they take the message from the story. So you've watched me work. I don't sit down and go, "Oh, I'm seeing, I'm predicting, or I'm this is going to happen." I don't see any of that. I don't use those particular terms. It just flows through. Whereas I've watched you say, "Be aware of this. This is going to happen," and you rightly say it has. So now the being in tonight's show is based on energy. The energy you've created for those people is awareness, and they're now guarded and maybe have an ability to stop what was potentially going to happen to them or for them. So um but I also say that what's supposed to happen will, no matter who tells them what.
Right, but I also tell people this, and I'm sorry to cut in, but I
No.
tell people that you can take what I tell you with a grain of salt, but it's up to you how you act. Like I always say,
Hmm.
if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. It's how you act.
Exactly. And we were all born with that wonderful gift called freedom of choice. We can tell them what'll happen, what might
Yep.
happen. It's up to them to react to it in whatever way they want, either ignore it or do something about it. But it's down to them. Ladies and gentlemen, I have my dear friend Roger Garcia Sr. If you're listening in on radio 103 or 105.3, 107.7 FM, brought to you by the United Public Radio Network, coming from New Orleans. I'm with my dear friend Roger Garcia Sr. of Latino Psychics, and you'll be able to watch Roger and his beautiful wife, Faye, on Saturday morning around 10 a.m. Eastern Time with This Mug's for You, but also midweek on Wednesday nights. What time is your show on Wednesday nights, Roger? The delay's still there.
7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Oh, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you can watch in. Now, the good thing about Roger is you can speak to him openly in Spanish because he can speak to you back in that lovely language. Whereas to me, you just have to talk to me in English and the story. And even then, I struggle with that. So,
Can I just say saludos a todos los mexicanos, todo nuestro raza latina.
whatever that means. Now, give us that in English.
You can add it with dip.
How do you say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in your beautiful language, in that beautiful Spanish language?
Feliz Navidad y un próspero año para todos ustedes, nuestro mundo.
Oh my God, it's just like he's singing, isn't it? It's just like he's singing. It just flows. Oh my goodness. Well, Roger,
I was going to do that tonight. I was going to sing that song. I
well,
was
there
going to
you
have my
go.
guitar here and start playing.
Well, we have come to the end of the segment that I had with you. I know we had some technical issues, but I will be very very glad to have you on again, and we'll talk a bit more about the show, what you do, and we'll have more people to interact. Maybe we'll actually do some reads together for our friends who are coming to visit us. But don't forget, coming this Saturday morning at Central Standard Time, you'll be able to be linking in with Roger and his great show, This Mug's for You. If you're here in the UK GMT time, it's around about 4 p.m. GMT. I have missed the last two shows because I had family come over for Christmas and I was with the family. But
4:30.
don't miss his 4:30 UK time, 10 a.m. Central Time with Roger. Join him and Faye for This Mug's for You. Roger,
And
it's been
10:30 Central Standard Time.
there you go. 10:30, 4:30 UK time. So Roger, thank you, my dear, dear, dear friend, a brother of spirit. And please give that beautiful, lovely wife of yours a big hug from me and tell her thank you, even in her most
Thank you.
in her most sort of not I don't want to say what she's not feeling, she's under the weather. Even under the weather, she still got up and made it happen. Bless her heart. Thank you so much, Roger. I will hopefully catch you this weekend. Thanks for coming on my show. You've actually
Right.
you've done me pride. Thank you so very very much. I'm so grateful.
Well, you know, a lot of people in Spanish they sign off hasta luego.
Yeah.
I always say hasta burrito.
All right, my buddy. I will see you
Thank
soon.
you,
Good
Paul.
night.
God
God
bless you.
bless. Take
God
care.
bless Joanna too and your family. And
Thank you
have a
very so much.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all you people.
Thank you so,
Bye
buddy.
bye.
Take care. So that was Roger Garza Sr. He's an absolute gem, and he's a musician, and he's played with some big, big names in his time. We are only 15 minutes left just to the end of the show. I wanted to talk to you about Michelle's show that's coming up directly after this, Michelle de Rocher. Make sure that you click in and be part of that. And next week's show, which is coming on to you Thursday on the 22nd of December, next week's show, I'm actually going to focus specifically on ghost spirits and, of course, the Holy Ghost. So we're going to talk about ghosts and spirits next week, and make sure you come and be a part of that particular show. I do hope that you've enjoyed tonight's show, and I do hope that you have spread the word and tell everybody else out there that we're all a part of this, and we're all having a bit of fun. And yes, this guy is a wee bit of a nut job, but he does his best. Um, so before we do head off, if you've got any more questions for me, please do let me know, because we've got a few more minutes left. Roger told you a little bit about what he does there and how the energy affects him. It's actually opened my mind or my eyes a little bit. I know I can help Roger in sort of what's the right words here? Trimming off the fat, maybe. More helping him to be able to open up and close down. I can teach him how to do that. I will be doing seminars in 2023 if you want to learn to use whatever gifts that you may already have, or you may not too sure that you do have. There are quite a few symptoms that when you're, shall we say, I keep using the word gift, and it's really about your abilities. If your abilities are starting to show themselves, there are symptoms like, for an example, you either get really, really tired a lot, you'll get angry at the snap of fingers, boom, you'll just lose your temper. You will also be awake a lot of the time. Your sleep patterns will go all over the place. You'll want to sleep during the day, but you'll be awake all night. And then obviously you might want to sleep all night and still sleep all day. But there are a number of things that where your abilities and your energies are starting to fluctuate, that they affect you in such a physical way. Which brings us right back on to tonight's show, all about energy. We are energy. Okay, everything that you encounter, everything you know, and everything you feel is energy in some form, be it a physical energy such as the table, the microphones, and the computers we're using, or be it etheric energy such as the spirit people that are connected to us, are around us, that are around us every, well, they can be around us every day. I mean, it doesn't work that way. They don't watch you 24/7. They have, it's called the next life, and in that is um, a sort of an explanation in itself. The next life, in other words, they have to get on and do things that it's not for the betterment for of like financial gain that we work for, but they work for the betterment of their spirit and our spirit as well. So, but a lot of people say to me, "Oh, can spirit help me do this, that, and the other?" And I say, "Yes, they can." However, the biggest message I want to share with you guys is this: spirit, the people, our friends and family in spirit, have lived their lives, and they lived their lives up until the time it was for them to go back home. And every spirit that I've worked with over the last 30 years have always said to me, we go home. Okay, so us here, we're kind of still at college, we're still learning, and when we've achieved all the acknowledgement and the knowledge that we need to, and it's our time, we'll go home too. But they're not there to then live our lives for us here. That's our job. If you do everything for your children, if you go out and earn all the money, and if you go out and you hand feed them, if you clothe them, if you do everything for them all of the time, they never learn anything. They only learn through experience. Okay. So when we experience life, we experience death, and we experience energy in between, that is when we build up our knowledge of life or our life journey. Okay. And that journey can, yes, it will go through times which you think, I don't want to be here anymore. And you watch people around you suffer and you think this life sucks. Of course, it's going to happen. It's going to be a part of your life. There are only two absolutes in this world. Two. You're born, one, and you'll cross, two. Those are the two absolutes in this life. The rest of it really is down to us. And to keep on to the theme of energy that I was talking about, what you give off as thought, what you give off as action attracts the same to you. When I was at business college learning business studies, they always said to me, Paul, if you want to be successful, then surround yourself with successful people because you claim and design and work up the same energy. Think about that. Alrighty. So if you're wondering why your world around you is not going the way it is going, two things are going to affect that. One is how you think as a person, and number two, the environment you're connected to. It never hurts to change your environment, and it will always help to change how you think. Okay. Roger was talking about his understanding of spirit. He didn't know what it was. It came to him later in life. Exactly the same thing happened to me. I'd never heard of a medium. I'd never heard of a psychic until I left Ireland and came to the UK, and all the different sort of the way my life unfolded led me to become a psychic medium. But in Ireland, I studied many different martial arts, but all of the martial arts had one theme, and that was the central core or spirit energy or chi or ki. Okay. Once again, think about this: the central core of energy. Okay, the meridians and how the energy moves around our body. Energy, the theme of tonight. And that is a physical energy that we can affect and affects us. So we can affect that by meditation. And meditation, I would implore you to practice daily. A meditation can be 1 minute long or 10 hours long. It's up to you. There is no specific time it has to happen. You can meditate in 3 minutes. No problem. You can meditate while you're sitting at traffic lights, just breathing, center your mind, center your focus, and that's meditation. And that will change your energy. Okay. Well, we've come rapidly through 2 hours tonight, and I really can't believe how quickly tonight has gone. It was fun and games having my dear friend Roger Garza, as he couldn't get his systems to work, but that's okay. That's okay. That's what life's all about. And you know what? It brought us joy. It uplifted us, and we have a better focus and a better energy. Um, my dear friend Michelle and her sidekick and another dear friend of mine, Amelia, have their show coming up directly after this one. Please make sure you're still a part of that and link in and listen to them. They are two magnificent people with amazing stuff to share with you guys. Next week's show, 22nd December. Of course, tonight is brought to you by the United Public Radio Network, brought to you on 105.3 and 107.7 FM from the beautiful New Orleans. I will see you all again next week, and we will be back to talk about, of course, the spirit. Well, the whole spirit of Christmas is linking through. That's going to happen, but next week will be literally more focused on ghosts, spirits, and how the spirit of Christmas sort of links into that, and how spirits and ghosts are different, but how you can interact with those as well. Make sure that you follow me on Facebook. Make sure you follow me on YouTube. Go to my YouTube channel. And of course, you can also find me on TikTok. And I've got one of the coolest handles on TikTok, Paul Francis 007. Yeah. Paul Francis 007. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter at Irish_psychic. And of course, follow me here every single week in the years and months ahead. I want to thank everybody again, United Public Radio Network, for giving me the opportunity to have Spirit Quest, the journey of life, with you on here. I'm going to wish you a good night, a bon voyage, and a safe and peaceful evening. Good night. God bless. Thank you very, very much.